The luxury BMW sat in our driveway with a giant red bow on top. My husband Jake had just handed me the keys with tears in his eyes, saying I deserved the world. What I didn't know was that he was using our old Honda to pick up women from dating apps. Let me take you back to how this all started. Jake and I had been married for 6 years. We were that couple everyone envied: successful careers, beautiful home, Instagram perfect life. He was a marketing executive, I was a nurse practitioner. We'd been trying for a baby for 2 years, and Jake seemed more loving and attentive than ever. Last month was our anniversary. Jake had been acting strange, giddy, almost. He kept saying he had a life-changing surprise for me. I thought maybe he'd planned a romantic getaway, or maybe he had news about the fertility treatments we'd been discussing. The morning of our anniversary, I woke up to Jake practically bouncing with excitement. "Close your eyes," he said, leading me outside. When I opened them, there it was, a brand new BMW X5, pristine white with caramel leather interior. The car I'd been dreaming about for years. "Jake, this is incredible, but how did we afford this?" I asked. His eyes welled up. "You work so hard, Sarah. You save lives every day. You deserve something beautiful." He kissed my forehead. "Besides, we don't need 2 cars anymore." I was confused. "What do you mean?" "I'm getting rid of the Honda. It's old, unreliable. This BMW is safer for when we start our family." Something felt off, but I pushed the feeling down. He was being so sweet. The next few weeks were blissful. I loved that car. Every morning driving to the hospital felt luxurious. Jake seemed happier too, always texting me sweet messages throughout the day. But then I started noticing things. Jake's phone was constantly buzzing. When I'd glance over, he'd quickly flip it face down. He started working late more often. And weirdly, he became obsessed with when I'd be home. "What time does your shift end today?" he'd ask every morning. "You know my schedule, Jake." "Same as always. Just want to make sure." Traffic's been crazy lately. The Honda was still in our garage, covered with a tarp. When I asked why he hadn't sold it yet, he'd get irritated. "I'm handling it, Sarah. Just let me deal with it." Then came the night that changed everything. I was working a double shift at the hospital when my friend Monica texted me a photo. It was taken at a downtown restaurant I'd never been to. The caption read, "Is this Jake? Thought you guys were trying to have a baby, not sure why he's on a date with some blonde." My blood went cold. In the photo was Jake, clearly laughing intimately with a woman I'd never seen. And parked right outside the restaurant window was our old Honda Civic. I stared at that photo for 10 minutes. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I left work immediately. Drove straight home in my beautiful BMW, my mind racing. Jake's car was in the driveway. I crept into our garage and pulled the tarp off the Honda. The car reeked of unfamiliar perfume. There were long blonde hairs on the passenger seat. In the center console, I found receipt after receipt, restaurants, hotels, even a jewelry store. All from the past month. All while I'd been driving around in my gift. But then I found something that made my stomach drop completely. A phone charger that wasn't mine. And plugged into it was a phone that wasn't Jake's usual phone. A second phone. I turned it on. No password. The messages made me physically sick. Jake had been talking to at least 8 different women. The conversations were graphic, disgusting. He was telling each of them he was single, that he was looking for something real. One conversation from just 3 days ago read, "Jake, can't wait to see you tonight. I'll pick you up at 8. Random woman, can't wait. Your car is so much cooler than most guys I meet on these apps. Love a man who keeps it simple, face blowing a kiss. Jake, Hondas are reliable. Just like me, winking face." I literally threw up. Right there in our garage. But the worst part was yet to come. I kept scrolling and found a group chat called BMW Boys. It was Jake and 3 other men, all apparently married, all apparently using this same twisted system. Jake had written, "Bought Sarah the BMW today. Phase 1 complete. Now I've got the perfect dating car. Wives think their old cars are gone, but we're using them for side action. Sarah works 12-hour shifts, so I've got plenty of time. She'll never suspect a thing." Another man replied, "Genius move. Told my wife I was selling our Jeep, bought her a Mercedes. Jeep's perfect for camping trips with my girlfriend." I couldn't breathe. This wasn't just cheating. This was a calculated, strategic plan to deceive me. I screenshot everything. Every conversation, every photo, every receipt. Then I sat in that garage and cried harder than I ever had in my life. But as I sat there, something shifted inside me. The sadness turned to rage. The rage turned to determination. Jake thought he was so clever. But he had no idea who he was dealing with. I spent the next week playing the perfect wife. Smiling when he came home. Thanking him for the BMW. Acting completely normal while I gathered evidence. I hired a private investigator. I consulted a divorce attorney. I opened my own bank account. And I planned something Jake would never see coming. See, Jake had made one crucial mistake. The BMW? It was financed. The loan was in both our names, but the payments were coming from our joint account, the account I managed. On Friday night, Jake announced he was working late again. "Big project deadline," he said, kissing my cheek. "Don't wait up." I waited exactly 30 minutes after he left. Then I drove the BMW to the Honda dealership across town, the same one we'd bought our Honda from 6 years ago. I'd called ahead. "I need to trade this in," I told the sales manager. "Tonight." "Ma'am, this BMW is worth significantly more than." "I don't care about the money. I just need it gone." I traded that $60,000 BMW for a brand new Honda Accord. Got the title, got the keys, drove home. Then I took the old Honda, Jake's precious dating mobile, and drove it to the police station. See, that private investigator had discovered something interesting. 2 of the women Jake was seeing were married. And their husbands had no idea. I left Jake's second phone, complete with all those messages, with a very interested detective. When Jake came home at 2 a.m., he walked into our garage to find me sitting on a folding chair, arms crossed. "Where's the BMW?" he asked slowly. "Which car are you referring to, Jake?" "Because according to your messages, we have a BMW for me and a Honda for your dating adventures." His face went white. "I know everything. The women, the group chat, the whole sick plan." Jake tried to deny it, then tried to apologize, then got angry. "You had no right to go through my things. And you had no right to use our marriage as a cover for your double life." The next morning, Jake woke up to divorce papers and a new reality. The detective had contacted the other wives in his little group chat. All 4 marriages imploded simultaneously. But here's the beautiful part, I kept the Honda Accord. Every morning when I drive to work, I smile knowing that I turned his weapon against me into my symbol of freedom. Jake lost everything. His job found out about his behavior through the police investigation. The other betrayed wives and I became friends, supporting each other through our divorces. Sometimes the best revenge is simply telling the truth. Today, I'm happily divorced, driving my Honda, and dating someone who doesn't need secret phones or elaborate schemes to feel good about himself. Jake recently texted asking if we could talk things through. I sent him a photo of me and my Honda with the caption, "This car and I are both reliable. You should try it sometime." Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.